Hi YouTube, and welcome back to Let's Play SimCity on Sundays. So I am going to try and put out my SimCity episodes every Sunday now, so I don't switch back and forth between Sims 3 and SimCity on Saturdays anymore. We'll see how well that works. And I apologize for not having a new episode up of this for a while, but for those of you who haven't been watching my vlogs, I moved into a new house, so that is what caused me to really not have any time for editing or playing games at all. Anyway, as you may recall, with the first episode of this series, I started building out a town that was supposed to be similar to the town I happen to live in currently here in Colorado. And then I was gifted an international airport, and so with the second episode, I started building out some other towns. So the town you're looking at here, that's the first town I started with. But then I built out a couple of other towns to help support this town, as well as support the international airport, because I needed resources for the international airport, like it needed oil and coal and metal, etc. So that is one of the things we're doing right now. And then my town here, I've got a university, and they're also researching for a space center. So, and it's taking a long time. And this town is also going to be sort of an electronics hub. So you can see I've got the whole semiconductor thing going on, etc. But I also have a trade port and things. I'm using the trade port to bring in the resources that the semiconductors need in order to build the semiconductors, and then the semiconductors are being used to build consumer products, which the trade port is then selling. So that's kind of the flow that's going on here in this town right now. So it's kind of a mix between a university town and a electronics town, between those two things. So that being said, so you can see here's the region, here's the airport, and so I've got my original town set to send alloy, but it's not sending alloy. Probably because they're using up all the alloy for the semiconductors, and so I'm still trying to figure that out. Now my Conestoga Crossing town, it says it needs coal right now, but I think that gets resolved pretty quickly. But they're doing mining for ore as well as coal. And they are able to, so right now they're sending metal to the airport, but I'm also going to have them send alloy because they're able to produce alloy as well. So since the first town, I mean, they're not producing alloy at all, they're just importing it. And I was hoping that the imported alloy could then be used for the airport, but apparently that wasn't working very well. So I figured, okay, fine, this other town can supply both the metal and the alloy. And then the other town that's in this area here, Pioneer Plains, is the one that's providing oil, the crude oil. So, and it's slowly but surely kind of happening, but it's not happening very fast. But I suppose if you're building an international airport, it doesn't, it can take, you know, months or years to build one of those. So I guess they're trying to make this seem like a real-time type of thing. So here we go, we can see the coal mine, and it's working, and it's getting coal and stuff. This particular town doesn't have a ton of coal and ore, but it's a start. I might just have to start another town in the region to provide more of that over time, but one thing at a time here. Now here I'm getting some information. It says, oh, we need a ship terminal. So now I've got to figure out, okay, I'm on the river, so I can definitely build one of those. I just need to figure that out. So here you can see I'm kind of looking around like, okay, how do is it a mass transit thing? How do I do this? Boats, ferry terminal, like, well, nope, that's not it. And we'll kind of go from there. You can see there's a big bridge in the background. That's just kind of was built in the region itself. Okay, so here we go. Here we got the trade port, and what I finally figured out was that you have to put a trade port in the area, and then the trade port has an expansion. See, I'm trying to like guide me, and it doesn't do anything really. But I just kind of like, wait a minute, I can always expand the trade port, and the trade port has numerous things I can expand on. So I'm like, okay, let me see if I put this down here, if it comes with a seaport or a water port of some kind. And sure enough it does, so there we go. Alright, plunk that there over there. We now have a cargo port. And then I was like, well, I might as well put in a rail port too, because I have railroad tracks going through this particular town as well. So I know one of the things that a lot of people complain about is that the city lots aren't big enough. I kind of agree. On one hand, it would be nice to have bigger cities overall, but each one of these individual little cities can kind of work together and kind of be a mega city ultimately. I mean, it would be nice if they were a little bit more connected to each other. There wasn't so much space between the borders of each one of them. So if they at least had them all touching together, that way you could kind of like build one city and then the next city over touches and etc. You could actually like make kind of a contiguous city if you wanted to, and they're not allowing that at the moment. And you notice here, for the rail one, I had to use the other trade port that I had closer to the railroad tracks in order to put the rail port in. The one over by the water was too far away. So, in the meantime, I got nuclear power going on here so that I have enough power for all of my mining operations that are going on. This is a mining town. It's pretty much their focus is mining. I haven't put a ton of other services in that area other than, you know, what was absolutely necessary. Alright, so now we've got, hopefully we're going to have some more ally coming into play there. I don't know how long it's going to take to ultimately finish this airport, but hopefully it'll get finished in another few episodes. Not sure. But, you know, I was originally going to just play just the one city, but I did build it up pretty darn quickly, and it's, you know, it's pretty much at capacity in terms of where I can build things. So, and here you can see I need waste disposal in the city, and I haven't quite figured out. I'm getting some waste disposal help from one of my neighbors, but the other one isn't doing it, so I might just have to build another city. And this city actually is starting to run out of workers. I just don't have enough people living here. Over time, people's houses will eventually upgrade and there'll be more people and there'll be more workers, but right now I'm just kind of at a crossroads where that's just not happening. So I am thinking in another couple of episodes I might just build out another town in the area that's just going to be perhaps just residential with trash, with a big trash dump, and have them send workers and trash removal to this city, so that I can kind of resolve those problems. But as you can see right now, I'm kind of lacking on medical care. So you can see I've got that one sick icon going on over there. So I'm right now I'm building out all the medical centers to help relieve that problem in the town. You can't have can't have a successful city if everyone's, you know, calling in sick all the time. So. Alright, so you can see there's that one little corner there that's not getting serviced yet, and instead of plunking down another medical center, the first thing I'm doing here is just expanding the services of this center. It's pretty easy to do. You'd add a patient wing, and then you add some ambulances, and you can do that and then add a sign too sometimes. And so that expands its reach. So that helped a little bit, but it's not quite enough. But I have this other one I plunked down, so I'm like, okay, I can expand that one too. As I have plenty of money, and for those of you who might not have watched my first couple of episodes, that's because I went ahead and used a money cheat on this game so that my town has enough money because you can see like per hour I'm like losing 21,000 simoleons per hour. My city is not yet at a profitable part. That's because I have expanded it very, very quickly. If I had built it a little bit more slowly, I probably wouldn't have run into that problem, but I wanted to build out the city very, very quickly, get the layout going and everything else. And so that ultimately leads to some problems when it comes to finances. But using the money cheat kind of helps overcome that. I've always kind of used money cheats in SimCity, to be perfectly honest, because I suck at money management in this game. People keep demanding services and I feel bad for not providing them, so I want to provide them, and the only way to do that is to just use the money cheat and just do it. And to be perfectly honest, not to get political here, but I sometimes think that the real government kind of does the same thing sometimes. At any rate, so here I've just kind of gotten rid of some of the commercial, so that my commercial demand is lower, my residential demand is high, so I'm replacing some commercial with residential, and here I zoned it for residential, but there's still commercial buildings there, so I had to kind of demolish them so residential people can come in and build. And then kind of looking at a couple of other things in the town, just kind of seeing what's going on. You can see I've got a Big Ben and a number of skyscrapers in the building in the downtown area over here already. So we're just kind of looking around at stuff, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, this thing, it's under construction. Let's see what's going on with that. Zooming in there. And I think for right now, I'm just going to take a look at this building that's under construction, and then I'm going to wrap up this episode for now, and we will check in and see the progress of everything going on in the next episode. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you are enjoying watching me kind of build out these cities, and